It was a beautiful day out today. Very nice and warm too. It was just great. It was great. So of course I got my black ass out here in the sun and everything, doing my workout. So start off with these pike push-ups here. You're probably like, ew, what is he doing there? So this is kind of like mimicking the same range of motion when doing a behind the neck press, like how you would in in the gym with like a barbell. This way, I can use a pike push-up variation that kind of targets more of my medial delts, and I definitely do feel it. So you really want to be careful though. You can easily snap up some stuff if you're a beginner and you like never done this stuff, and if you don't have the shoulder mobility, you have to have pretty good shoulder mobility in order to do this. So if you want to do something with this similar range of motion, I would just recommend using weights or just stick to a normal pike push up so you don't end up tearing up anything. Uh, and by the way, my knees are bent because I just have horrible hamstring mobility. But if you want to know if the movement works, well, I'd say it works. I feel it. I feel my lateral delts working, and it's doing pretty well with that tension there. You know, especially there's not a lot of exercises that can directly target the medial delt, so you kind of have to get into these weird movements and positions in order to, I don't know, try and sculpt the body and whatnot. So yeah, but I kind of want to go over a little bit like breakups, right? So it was one of the topics on my video topics, whatever, and most of what I'm thinking of is kind of like a breakup I went through when I was 17, and I'm 19 now. I'm gonna be 20 in a bit, but I'm seven. So I was 17 at the time, and I'm over here like breaking. We just broke up. I'm like boohoo crying and stuff like that. She already moved on to another guy, and I'm like upset. I'm devastated about this, and for some time I didn't really like do anything with myself. It was like at the forefront of my thoughts every day for a couple of months. It was like the only thing I was thinking of. It was like taking away from like other parts of my life. Um, and I just kind of kept sitting in it until I decided to do something, which is the reason, kind of like a catalyst to like me working out and everything like that. Um, so I guess like when it comes to how you maybe be dealing with like like take being coming out of a relationship, there are like there's like no lie, I'm pretty sure when you come out of a relationship, whether it was a good or bad thing, you probably feel like a bit of relief, right? Like you probably feel like, oh, I don't gotta deal with this anymore, or maybe I have more of my own free time or stuff like that. But then you're gonna feel like a lot of like pain. You're gonna be like, I don't have this person to confide in anymore. I don't have a person that will listen to me anymore. I don't have and then it's like also like things ways we adjusted ourselves or adapted ourselves so we can kind of like do things with that person. Now they just kind of end up becoming parts of us, or just getting stuck onto us. So now we do something because we did it because our partner liked it, but now it's a part of us. And so now you kind of have like that you kind of almost have this impression of this person on you probably for the rest of your life if you keep that habit or whatever the case may be, or that type of behavior. And that's just gonna leave an even bigger hole in your heart because it's like, oh man, it's like that person and what you did with them, that was your normal for a moment. That was your normal. And that's what you got used to. Now you can't breathe without them. You can't think. You can't do anything without them. And that's because your normal has been messed up. Your normal has been thrown out of whack. And you're trying to adjust and see what you can do to basically fill the void. And filling that void can take a while. So it's just like, but one thing is like, you can't just sit in it. You can't just wait. You also can't be so quick to go to get into another relationship. Because all you're going to be doing is taking your past pain and traumas and then transferring that to another person, right? If you know a person, if you even if you are this person, to always be in a relationship, you're always in a relationship. And what I mean, you're in a relationship, you're always in a relationship with somebody else. That's a bad thing. You shouldn't be in and out of relationships. You should, let's say you have a partner, you guys date for a year or something like that. You guys break up, whatever happened, it happened. You guys break up and you guys are apart for maybe, you guys are apart and maybe you're single for possibly, let's say, let's say a good amount of time to be single after a year. However long you need, actually, to be honest. However long you need to think that you can actually process what happened and you can be in actual proper relationship without feeling like you're going to hurt anybody else. Because again, those things take time. Those holes, those craters in our hearts take time to fill up with other things. But you can't let you being out of a relationship slow you down, right? You still have other responsibilities to take care of. I was in high school, so I still had my high school assignments to do. I had like my friends and stuff, just house chores, stuff like that. Like, come on, like, would my mom really hear it? "Mom, I can't wash the dishes. I'm still thinking about my ex." Like, she would hear none of that, bro. She would be like, "Boy, you better go ahead and get those dishes done." So, again, like, we can't let these things slow us down. Of course, let yourself feel those emotions. Like, if you have to cry, cry, If you have to journal it out, journal it out. I think that's the best way of doing it. Journal it out. Really, really lay out all of your thoughts and ideas in paper in front of you so you can really, really, really feel those emotions to a much more deeper degree. And when it comes to heartbreak, when it comes to breaking up, you have to, be able to not have that partner. Let's say if things maybe were bad, when breaking up, don't paint that partner as a villain who did this to you, who made you feel every which way about you feeling, after the relationship. Like, if you feel like your partner really broke your heart, after that, like, don't paint them anymore as a villain, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like no one is responsible for the emotions that you feel. You allowed yourself to feel those emotions, right? And there's nothing wrong with your emotions. There's nothing wrong with feeling emotions. Just know that no one is directly responsible for your actual emotions, right? So it's like, again, don't take those emotions and then exaggerate them to such a degree to where you paint this past partner of yours as some type of villain, because 9 times out of 10 they're probably not. They're probably going through the same thing as you, probably going through the same thought processes. And it is like, again, it takes more energy to hate. It takes more energy to do that. Now every time you think of that person, now anything, little thing that reminds you of that person, now you're going to be pissed off, now you're going to be mad, you're going to be irritated, stuff like that. Because it's like you think this person as some type of like evil villain that just breaks hearts and stuff like that, and it's like it's gonna piss you off, right? Especially like high school relationships, breakups. None of that stuff is serious, man. I mean, you're so young, so freaking young, bro. It's like, why are you even like still thinking about your partner from like, I don't know, 10th grade, and you're like 22 years old or whatever. It's like that shouldn't be affecting you so much, because I don't know, when you're a kid, like any little thing like is cool to you. So having that maturity now as an adult, you should be able to look back and just be like, well, okay, yeah, that was kind of goofy for that. That was kind of silly of me to get caught up in that type of stuff. But yeah, it's also, I feel like, also hardship when it comes to relationships, and whatnot. I feel like they're possibly a necessary thing, just so that way you can experience what it's like to have that type of hurt, to have that type of pain. Because I think it's a natural thing. I think it's a thing that we all go through. And some people try to avoid that, try to avoid those actual feelings and that pain by going to by having another partner right after their past relationship, right? Another thing is completely avoiding that by not getting into a relationship. When you are getting into a relationship, expect to be hurt, expect to have hardships, expect to disagree with this person. If you guys break up, expect it to have expectations that it might not be a good breakup. Have expectations that things might end bad, right? Because you have to be willing to accept that type of pain. When you get into a relationship, it's something that's expected. But it's like it shouldn't be avoided. It shouldn't be avoided because those things, they propel and they grow people. Those things really help people out when it comes to building up character and whatnot. That way you can know people better. You can know yourself better. Another thing, when coming out of a relationship, that's when you have to really process the breakup and process what happened, things like that. You have to allow yourself to do that. You can't be jumping in and out of relationships. So you have to be able to be comfortable with what it's like to be alone. You have to be comfortable with what it's like to not have that little partner, to lose that basically piece of you. Basically, you have to learn what that's like, and you have to allow yourself to process those things. So by doing that, you're giving yourself time to process. You're giving yourself time to actually grow. You're giving yourself time to actually grow and change and to adapt and to learn who you are. So when you are in this kind of state of being alone, quote unquote, right, you are able to better focus on yourself. You're able to better improve yourself. Since you probably have that free time now, you're able to put that in towards skills and things that can propel you forward, right? Instead of again just sitting in it, just sulking and just being sad and doing nothing, because being sad and doing nothing, it's not gonna do anything for you. And trust me, believe I've was in that same situation, being sad and doing nothing. It didn't do anything for me. It didn't help me finish my homework assignment. It didn't help me start working out. It didn't help me hang out with my friends. Right? It didn't help me be sociable. So you have to be able to do something. Now, I'm not saying you have to you have to, after your girlfriend dumps you and breaks your heart, you have to immediately get up and get start grinding, bro. Like, of course it's gonna take a bit of time, like a week, maybe even a month or something like that. But if you're sitting there like 2 months, I feel like even a month is crazy. I mean, you have to be able to like do something. You have to be able to think of something to do. You have to take some type of little, even little teeny tiny baby steps in order just to get yourself back up, right? If you're listening to this and you just got through a breakup, like, dude, like, I'm sorry that happened, Uh, maybe it was for the better, so, but now that you're here and that you have probably more time to yourself, use that time to more wisely, right? Use that time to reflect, use that time to better for yourself. Don't go running back already after like breaking up after like a week or a month. Don't, go trying to hey get on a new, don't try and get on a new person. Again, allow yourself to be alone. Allow yourself to actually have those thoughts and encounter those thoughts and analyze them, right? And feel those emotions. Allow yourself that, because that's self-respect, right? You have to allow your body to readjust, in your system, in your mind, to readjust to this new situation of being by yourself.